Hello, welcome to your RE today. Oops, gone too fast. So, we are going to be thinking about our new topic, which is the Mass. Okay, and we're going to be thinking about what happens when we go to Mass, and we're just going to be thinking about the beginning of Mass today. So, just for the very beginning of this lesson, I would like you to be thinking about a special celebration that you may have. Okay, so I want you to think about the celebration that you have just once per year for yourself. What might that be? Yep, your birthday happens once per year. It's a day that you were born that we celebrate year after year. We celebrate it annually. Okay, so actually, talking about birthdays, it's my daughter's birthday next week. My daughter is in year two, just like you, and next week she's going to be 7. And we have a special tradition in our house on her birthday. So every year we usually have a party where our family and friends come round to our house and we celebrate together. And one of the traditions we have is we always have a pinata. We always have a pinata, and just before my daughter's birthday, I cram it with as many sweets as I can find. And then at her party, her cousins and her friends give the pinata a good old bashing until eventually all the sweets fall out and then they scramble for them. This year will be slightly different. This year, our pinata will be full of sweets, and it looks like we'll be getting more of them ourselves because we won't be able to have that big party that we usually have. So that's one of our special traditions is having the piñata every year for my daughter's birthday. So I want you to think about your birthday now and your special occasion that happens annually. I want you to pause the video and think about what tradition do you have when you celebrate your birthday? Which things do you always do when you're celebrating your birthday? So pause the video. Okay, so it might be that you're like us and you always celebrate with piñata. It might be that you always have a special birthday cake just for you every year, and it might be a birthday cake that is designed for something that you love. It might be an LOL one, it might be a Spider Man one. It might be that you always put decorations up, balloons and banners around your house. It might be that you always wear a special badge. Um, do any of you have the balloon with your age on it sometimes? Absolutely. So there's lots of traditions that you might have. It might be that your mum always takes a birthday photo of you so she can see how much you've grown every year. So lots of exciting traditions for birthdays, and they happen annually. Today, we're going to be thinking about something that we can celebrate once a week. So once a week, I'm just going to say goodbye to the pinata. This is the last time he'll look so lovely because he'll have a big old tearing at some point soon. So I want you to think about the celebrations that we have in church. So you can see this picture of our lovely church, St. John Fisher, and it's been a long time that we've been able to be together as a school community there, but it is there and it's waiting for us to come back together soon. But we are invited to celebrate Jesus and God every week on a Sunday at Mass. Okay, we're invited to go to Mass as a school regularly, but also as a family once per week on a Sunday. And lots of you will look forward to getting back to that soon. Now, when we attend Mass, one of the things that we do, one of the routines that we have, like we talked about the traditions that we have, birthdays, one of the things that we always do at the beginning of Mass is we have a time to start as we mean to go on, and we have a time to reflect on maybe things that haven't gone so well. So we think about things that haven't gone well, maybe things that we haven't done right, maybe something that we should have done and didn't do. And we have our opportunity to say, actually, I'm sorry about that, and ask for forgiveness. So I want you to just take a moment and think about perhaps a time when maybe you have needed to say sorry and ask for forgiveness. It might be something that's happened at school, it might be something that's happened at home. It could be absolutely tiny. And if you don't feel like you want to say it outside, that's out loud, it's absolutely fine. You can say it in your head if you want to. Just it can be at any time when perhaps you may have needed to say sorry because you haven't done the right thing, or perhaps you did the wrong thing. Okay, so it might be that you said something unkind to somebody. It might be that you refused to share something. It might be that your mum asked you to do something to help her and you didn't do it. So at Mass, we have that opportunity to reflect on those times. Okay. Now, I was actually thinking about this earlier on because I was reading a book with my daughter, and you'll recognise this character here. There he is, the highway rat. And it actually made me think that in some of the stories that we read, there are lots of stories where perhaps characters haven't done the right thing and they have behaved in a way that we wouldn't expect. Now you can see here that the highway rat, oh my goodness, in this picture, he's being quite ruthless, isn't he? Remember, he takes whatever he can from people, even if it is no good to him, he still wants it. Can you think of some adjectives to describe him? Greedy, yet selfish perhaps. Ruthless, I've already used that one, haven't I? Mean, perhaps. So you can see here that he wants what the ants have got, and he's threatening them with his sword. And it was interesting because as we got to the end of the story, you can see a change in the highway rat, and you can see that he is actually regretful over his behaviour. Didn't do the right thing, did he? And I just was interested to know what you think he might be saying. So he looks sorry, he looks regretful. What do you think he might be saying in this speech bubble? And I want us to think about this today because I think he is saying sorry. But one of the things important when we say sorry, particularly at the beginning of Mass as well, is to explain why we are sorry. And that helps us to understand perhaps what we have done wrong and how we can avoid doing it again. So just have a think. Just take a moment to think about what he might be saying and how he's going to explain why he is sorry. Just you can do that. You can do it in your head. You can do it out loud. You can say it to your mums and dads. So you can pause the video and just with your voice fill in that speech bubble. Excellent. Well done. It might be that over the course of the next couple of weeks, you might just be a bit more mindful and be thinking about which characters and stories have we met that perhaps have been really good at saying sorry. Which leads me into Ash Wednesday. So, next week is Ash Wednesday, and this marks the beginning of Lent. And usually, when we go to school, when we go to Mass on Ash Wednesday, if we are at school, we will all queue up at the Mass, and the priest will just create the sign of the cross on our forehead with the ashes. Now, these ashes are actually made with the palm leaves from last year's Palm Sunday. Okay, and during Ash Wednesday, we do think and reflect on things that haven't gone well, and we have that opportunity to say sorry for the things that we haven't done right. And it leads us, it's the beginning of Lent, and it leads us into that time that we start to think about what we can do for others. Okay, so as Lent begins, we actually think about after Jesus was baptized, how he spent 40 days in the desert. And whilst he was in the desert, he had very little to eat and very little to drink. And we use that, we understand now, and we think of that to understand how many people around the world don't have the things that we have. They don't have enough clean water. They don't have enough food. And we remind ourselves of how lucky we are to have our cozy, warm homes and to have food to eat and to have a school to attend. Okay. And we think about how lucky we are and what we can do to help people that aren't as lucky as us. So during Lent, we usually think about something that we might be able to give up, and we focus our energy on doing something for other people. So often people might give up something that they really, really enjoy. It might be that they give up fizzy drinks. It might be that they give up sweets. I know some children that have given up perhaps using their tablet or their iPad. But I want you to think about your Lenten promise today, not just on giving something up. I want you to think about what you are going to do during Lent that is for somebody else, that can show that you are trying to be more like Jesus. Okay, think about when Jesus shows how to behave, Jesus shows us how to be kind. What can you do during Lent that helps others, which helps you to become more like Jesus? Okay, so you can give something up, but what are you going to give to other people? Okay, so could it be that if you're going to give up sweets for Lent, could it be that you're going to give up sweets and then give the money that you would normally have spent on sweets to charity? So if you're going to give something up, that's absolutely fine. What are you going to do with what you give up? Okay. It might be that you are going to give up sweets and then you can donate something to the food bank. So try and tie the two in together so that you're not just giving something up. You're giving something up, but you're then going to focus on doing something for other people with that sacrifice, if you like. Okay, so today that is your time to write your Lenten promise. Now, Lenten promises can be tricky to keep, okay, and we understand that and we know that sometimes it may be tricky. So try not to make your Lenten promise too difficult, okay. Once before, someone in my class said they were going to give up TV for the whole of Lent, and that was 6 weeks without any TV. And I think that's a really, really tricky Lenten promise because sometimes we do need a little bit of relaxation time. So try and make your Lenten promise something that is achievable, okay? Something that you can give up, but something you can also do for somebody else during Lent as well. Okay, so that is your task today to write your Lenten promise. I'd love to see them. I'd love to see how you've presented them. Try and make them look as beautiful as possible. Okay, have a think for me today. How are you going to focus on God during Lent? What's your Lenten promise? I look forward to seeing you, children. Bye.